A lot about Florian Wirtz, and I thought it's going to happen, but what's going on? It's gone very quiet.
Yeah, so talks continue between Bayer Leverkusen and Liverpool. Of course, there's no rush for Liverpool to get these signings done because they're not playing in the Club World Cup. This is just a case of keeping the house in order and being really proactive in getting the business done early so they know where they stand. This is a huge deal. It would be not only a club record, but a Premier League record should it get done, based on the figures that we're looking at the moment. It's our understanding that whilst Liverpool's second offer, which was totalling around 105 million, wasn't rejected by Bayer Leverkusen, they wanted to continue the dialogue and say, well, actually, it's not quite what we want. We understand through our colleagues in Sky Germany that they value Florian Wirtz at around 150 million euros. So Liverpool's offer was about 125, 130. So there wasn't a huge gap, but the conversation continues. And I think what you're seeing with this situation, Mike, unfortunately for us, is that so much stuff comes out on social media before it's even happened. And there are a lot of people out there that just guess what might be happening in the next 24 to 48 hours. I got a message a couple of weeks ago saying, Florian Wirtz, done and dusted, 24, 48 hours. And I said, no, hang on. My sources are telling me that this is a long way off yet and people are getting very carried away. 2 weeks later, we're sat here saying, what's going on? Dialogue continues, but it's a huge deal to get done. And I think they're just jostling to try and save a few pennies here. And Bayer Leverkusen will be trying to get a bit of money there. There was talk that Harvey Elliott would be involved, and Sky Germany have said that's not the case anymore. It's a straight deal between the two clubs for the 22-year-old.
It's an unbelievable statement of intent by the Premier League champions, isn't it? I think if you look back to the start of last season, new manager comes in, Arne Slot. They don't spend much. I think they signed Mamardashvili, but then he joined obviously this summer. Chiesa came in and that was it. So clearly Liverpool hierarchy could probably go, well, do you know what, we've got a strong squad there that's been left by Jurgen Klopp, but let's see what Arne Slot can do. Well, Arne Slot's delivered the Premier League title, also saved a lot of money in the bank. It means they can go full hog this summer. 150 million euros is a huge sum of money for a Premier League club to pay that we haven't ever seen before if Liverpool get this deal over the line. Jeremy Frimpong already in. Milos Kerkez being discussed for around £50 million.
So what's going on with Kerkez?
Still no club-to-club contact, despite what's being said on social media. Liverpool have not reached out to Bournemouth at the moment to discuss a potential deal. We understand that there is, of course, interest there. We know how things work in football. You'd be surprised if they hadn't spoken to Milos Kerkez's representatives to explore what he'd want with regards to wages and to get some sort of guidance on the fee that's going to be involved. But this is a player that joined Bournemouth in the summer of 2023 for around 14, 15 million pounds. So they're not going to want to sell him on the cheap. They don't need to sell any of their players. But we know that Liverpool very much keen on the player. And if you were to speak to any of the hierarchy at Liverpool, they would probably say, we're confident we can get a deal done. But as of yet, as of right now, no contact from Liverpool to Bournemouth.
OK, and the good thing about Wirtz is I get to say saga for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Let's talk Tyrone Mings at Aston Villa. New contract today. Such a bad injury during the season.
I think depth is important for Aston Villa. Aston Villa are under tight restrictions in terms of PSR. Well, we understand that UEFA are going to be clamping down hard on them with a potential quite a substantial fine for breaching their regulations. So tying Tyrone Mings down to a contract, keeping players, I think is going to be really crucial for Aston Villa. Missing out on the Champions League, no doubt is going to hurt them this season. So they're going to have to work the transfer market really tightly in terms of probably likely departures if they want to then reinvest in the squad and bring in perhaps Marco Asensio, who they have an option to buy from PSG after, fairly impressive, I think, short
Is he
spell.
going to want to be at Villa if there's no Champions League carrot now?
Well, that's a question for the player, isn't it? Perhaps not. Perhaps yes. Perhaps he sees it still as an opportunity.
So people will be looking at him, won't they?
It's the same with Marcus Rashford, though. Yeah. Marcus Rashford wants to play Champions League football. If Villa come in and say, OK, we have actually got the funds to pay, or we can bring you on loan for another season, will he like it? Well, we had a great time there. But again, without Champions League football, that might well be an issue. So for Aston Villa, tying down players like Tyrone Mings on a contract, probably a good bit of business.
Well, Newcastle have got Champions League football. Are they going to spend at last?
Eddie Howe will love to spend and recruit and build and develop that really exciting squad. I think Newcastle's recruitment has been exceptional over the last few years since he arrived at the football club. They've got that really nice balance. We know they're in the market for a winger. We know they're in the market for a centre-back. That's the two key positions that they're looking at. Possibly a goalkeeper as well. Last summer, they brought in a striker for about 10 million quid, a free transfer in Lloyd Kelly, who they sold to Juventus in January, and John Ruddy. So this is going to be a very different summer in terms of what they've got to spend.
Is it going to be a summer where we don't say, are they going to lose Alexander Isak?
You put me on the spot there, Mike. We're not going to mention his name because we don't want to upset Newcastle fans.
Well, they don't have to lose him now, do they? Champions League football.
They've definitely got a better chance. They've definitely 100% got a better chance of keeping him now. They've got Champions League football. But it's Alexander Isak, and there's no doubt there will be speculation brewing. There'll be plenty of clubs tempting Newcastle into a transfer. I
don't think there's many clubs that can get to where Newcastle want to be financially. It's a huge deal, maybe even more than Florian Wirtz. So it's a huge, huge deal. And when you look at clubs that can spend that kind of money, I can think of maybe one or two in the Premier League, maybe one in Europe. That's it. So I don't think Newcastle have to worry about the phone going off from too many clubs, but I think there'd be one or two that could afford it, and that's it.
Fabulous. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your company today.
And they're in talks with Thomas Partey over extending his contract. Raheem Sterling will be leaving the Emirates and returning to Chelsea at the end of his loan deal.
Now on to Aston Villa. Now, Lille goalkeeper Luca Chevalier is on Aston Villa's radar if Emi Martinez leaves the club. That's according to The Athletic, whilst Tyrone Mings has signed a contract extension with Aston Villa.
Liverpool are growing increasingly confident of signing Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth. He would cost around £40 million and personal terms are not expected to be a problem.
Manchester United have registered their initial interest in Brentford, Brian and Burmo. Contact between the clubs has been established, but formal negotiations are yet to begin. Brentford are willing to listen to offers for the 25-year-old, who they value in excess of £60 million.
Birmingham are set to sign goalkeeper James Beadle from Brighton on a season-long loan.
Burnley are waiting to find out if Josh Brownhill will accept their new long-term contract offer at the club. The 29-year-old's current deal is due to expire at the end of this month.
Chelsea would only make an offer of around £10 million for AC Milan goalkeeper Mike Maignan. He's got 1 year left on his contract with the Italian club. It's possible they make only one signing, though, in Liam Delap during this mini window.
Crystal Palace are expecting to field interest for Eberechi Eze and Adam Walter this summer, but do, crucially, have replacements lined up.
Liverpool winger Ben Doak has made a full recovery from injury amid interest from Everton.
Willian and Carlos Vinicius will leave Fulham when their contracts expire at the end of the month. Tom Cairney and Kenny Tete have been offered new deals by the club, but are yet to decide on their futures.
Leeds will have around £100 million to spend this summer as they look to improve their squad and remain a Premier League outfit.
Liverpool are working on deals for Florian Wirtz and Bournemouth defender Milos Kerkez.
Manchester City have agreed a £46 million deal with AC Milan for central midfielder Tijani Reinders. As it stands, Jack Grealish is not going to the US with Manchester City next week for the Club World Cup, with his future at the club uncertain.
Manchester United are expecting offers for Jadon Sancho, with clubs in the Premier League and Europe interested.
Newcastle United are interested in the Brighton forward João Pedro as they look to add options to their front line.
Nottingham Forest are in talks to sign 3 players from Botafogo, including Brazil striker Igor Jesus.
Sunderland are looking to sign 4 or 5 new players this summer. A deal for Jordan Henderson is not currently being looked into. They're hopeful they can convince Joe Bellingham to stay at the club despite interest from Borussia Dortmund.
Tottenham Hotspur would only listen to significant offers for Son Heung-min. He'll be 33 next month and has 1 year left on his current deal. Spurs would not stand in his way if he decided he wanted a new challenge.
Napoli are targeting a move for West Ham loanee Carlos Soler this summer, and that's according to Sky Italy.
And finally, Wolves want £50 million for their left-back Rayan Ait-Nouri, with interest from Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's side want to sign him before the Club World Cup.
Well, we heard